I'm Kenny McIntosh, and at this time I'm joined by the brand new WCPW Heavyweight Champion Joseph Connors. Joseph, thank you for joining me today.
It's a pleasure.
Now, I need to ask the question that everybody wants to know. You are the new WCPW Heavyweight Champion, but that did seem to come at the expense of your friendship and partnership with Joe Hendry. Can you explain to us what happened, what went wrong, what made you decide to take that chair to win the championship in that way?
Let's just take that word for a moment. Let's take that word that you used, friendship. Friendship is supposed to be 50-50. Now let's just look at the facts. Let's look at the history. Joe Hendry hasn't been a friend to Joseph Connors. Joe Hendry has tried to use Joseph Connors as a stepping stone to win the WCPW Heavyweight Championship. And I wasn't going to be a stepping stone anymore. See, I should thank Joe Hendry, because when I came into WCPW, I had aspirations, I had goals, I had opponents I wanted to face, I had things I wanted to show. And then I got stuck, I got cornered, I got put into this tag team with the local hero, Joe Hendry. And I had to look in the mirror, I had to look at the reflection. I didn't know the man I was looking at anymore. Joe Hendry made me a joke. Joe Hendry made me a laughing stock. So really, I should thank you, Joe Hendry, because you just pushed, you prodded, you did it just one too many times, and you finally turned the screw inside that made me realise who and what I am. Because Joseph Connors isn't a joke. Like you said, Kenny McIntosh, Joseph Connors is the WCPW Heavyweight Champion.
And I mean, with that, I mean, Joe Hendry is clearly going to be coming after you now. It seems, I mean, you laid him out, you beat him, you brutalised him.
That's right.
To become the champion. Was that necessary? I mean, you could have stayed friends, you could have still been friends and won the championship, but you chose to do it in a different way. Was there nothing that could salvage that?
I listened to you and you just don't get it, do you? Of course it was necessary. This is the professional wrestling business. And Joe Hendry's got a lot to learn about the professional wrestling business. See, Joe Hendry can make videos, Joe Hendry can sing to his heart's content, Joe Hendry can wave at his fans. But Joe Hendry is not going to make me look like a fool any longer. I turned the tables, I turned the chair on Joe Hendry. I did what I needed to do.
I mean, with that said, you know, there's a lot of guys in the WCPW locker room that you've been friends with, your peers, guys like El Ligero, and are you still going to keep those friendships, or are those people now on your hit list? Like, what's next for Joseph Connors?
What makes you think you know anything about my history? What makes you think you know anything about my friendships? El Ligero is not a friend of mine. El Ligero has never been a friend of mine. Joe Hendry has never been a friend of mine. El Ligero is nothing more. Joe Hendry is nothing more than an opponent, than a nemesis, than someone that I have got to take out. El Ligero, Joe Hendry, Martin Kirby, it doesn't matter. You can name off every single one of the WCPW roster. They want what I have. They're all gunning for me. Don't be so naive to think that they're my friends. Don't be so naive to think that they'd help me in a crisis. Don't be so naive to think that they wouldn't do the exact same thing that I did. You got a lot to learn as well.
The last person I want to ask you about before we let you go is Rampage. Rampage was part of this four-way, and he's someone in WCPW. He wants that championship. And he's going to be coming after you to get it, I'm sure. How do you feel about that?
Rampage is coming after the WCPW Heavyweight Championship. Another person who claims that he's had everything thrown against him. Rampage can do what every single other man can do. They can get in line. If they want to face me, I'm not a hard man to find. Joe Hendry, El Ligero, Rampage. I'm sitting right here, and I'm going to tell you that I am the new WCPW Heavyweight Champion, and I do not intend on losing that championship any time soon. You want to get in the ring, you want to wrestle, you want to brawl, you want to fight? I'll do anything I have to do. I think I've proven that. You think you know Joseph Connors? You know nothing about Joseph Connors. And Rampage, Joe Hendry, El Ligero, I'm sure you're listening. That voice in the back of your head is not your conscience. That's fear.
I've been joined by Joseph Connors, a very different Joseph Connors than I think we thought we knew here at WCPW. Thank you for joining us.
You're more than welcome.
Do you want to see WCPW live but are allergic to the awful people of Newcastle? WCPW is coming to Greater Manchester on Saturday the 8th of October to the Altrincham Silver Blades Arena. Your ticket won't just get you a stat card featuring Cody Rhodes versus Kurt Angle, but will also grant you access to our first ever fan convention during the day. Meet the What Culture guys, have photos with your favourite WCPW wrestlers, a host of other surprises, and VIP members will get to meet Kurt Angle and Cody Rhodes in person. Tickets can be bought at wc.pw.